if we're talking specifically about women, we're taught not to be angry, we're taught to be nice, we're taught all of these ways to restrict and control ourself and how our body moves. Well, we have a human body, and the body wants to move beyond restriction. The more we get into these boxes, the more we're going to notice different symptoms and different things come up. The first thing I will say is like, nobody gets through childhood unscathed. We are going to fuck our kids up.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Wellness Effect. We are so excited today. We have a little cutie joining us. And Chelsea is with us today. So she's the practitioner behind Deconstructed Wellness. So she's supporting people through a ton of different modalities, things like BodyTalk, somatic healing, birth work. She's dabbles in some human design, which we know and love around here. And she's all about helping people reconnect with their bodies, understand deeper patterns driving their health and behavior, and really create a greater sense of safety and alignment in their lives. So she helps people navigate everything from chronic stress, emotional blocks, like major life transitions, honestly, just anything you can think of. And she really uses a blend of body based healing, energetic insight, and then that human design piece just adds a whole other layer to her work. So, understanding how we're all uniquely wired to make decisions, manage energy, move through the world. And she helps us do this in a way that really supports our nervous system. So, we're going to dive into all things body mind connection, nervous system regulation, human design, and just how it all comes together and helps people really support deeper healing. So, welcome to the show, Chelsea. We're so excited you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me and for that beautiful intro.
Yeah, it was hard because you and I have done a lot of work together. So, I'm like, I don't even know where to begin with what Chelsea
Yes.
does. But did I cover it all? Is that kind of
Absolutely.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. So I would love to kind of start with when I was like reading, just like going through your website and your profile and reading about you. I'm like, how in the heck did you get here? And what were you? I was so curious, like what you did before, and if you did, or if you just always knew, like, no, the 9 to 5 is not my vibe. Tell us that story. I'm just like dying to know.
Well, yeah, I think ever since I was a kid, I was definitely referred to as a pretty bossy. If
Oh,
I was a
welcome.
man, I would have just been called a leader, but I digress. So yeah, I think I always felt like I was a little bit outside of the box of what was usual. Um, and then I actually started candy striping at a hospital in the small town that I lived in.
Oh my
So I
God, I love
was,
that.
yeah, I was hanging out with the elderly. And then when I moved
Okay,
to
so
Vermont,
do you
oh,
just, like, deliver snacks? Is that kind of what it is, or is it actually candy when you do that?
I
Or
don't
what
know.
is
What
I
is
think
that?
it's called candy striper because you wear this like little uniform that has like pink and white stripes on it.
Yeah. Aw, that's
But
so funny.
no, no candy.
Oh, darn.
So what is a candy striper?
Yeah, basically you're a volunteer in a nursing home and you just have conversations and just hang out with
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
people.
cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I moved to Vermilion, I found out that you could actually be paid for that job. So I started working as a patient care aide at the nursing home here. So before I was like a birth doula, I was almost like an end of life doula in a
Mm.
way, using that like natural empathy to kind of support people in those end stages of life.
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool, and then it just kinda moved in, you're like, "I need more to integrate for my doula clients," and that's how, like, the body talk and all that
Well,
kinda added on?
the body talk was more of personal issues that
Mm.
I had faced. I mean, I had a pretty like rough childhood. I mean, as far as the ACE score goes, my score would have been pretty high. That's probably what started me as a high achiever. Um, but I had IBS and I also had hypoglycemia. And when I went to the hospital, a lot about what you guys talk about, I mean, there was really no help. There was only cures for symptoms. And I really wanted to find a different way. So that's kind of what got me into the more like esoteric side of things, like looking into body work. And that's how I stumbled upon Body Talk. It was the first one I did that I really felt like, wow, how is this possible? How does she know so much about me? Like I didn't say all of that. And then at the end of the session, I left feeling a lot lighter. And I kind of did a deep dive there. I did about like, I think I was fully certified within a month. It typically takes people a year to do that
Oh my
certification. Yeah. It was the first textbook I read front to back. I was just, like, so blown away by the information and just wanted to kind of learn more and more. I think I took, like, 30 courses in my first year, just
Wow.
anything that I could get my hands on, I was just all in.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Something that Kira didn't mention in the intro is you actually work alongside us
Oh, yeah.
inside of Lifestyle U with our clients that
Sorry.
have been around for like, let's give her a little credibility here. With our clients that have been around for a little bit longer, and they can actually do a session of body talk. But I think it would really be cool for the listeners to hear just like what is body talk. It's fairly new to our listeners, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Body Talk is a therapy that combines basically all of the different aspects of health, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, even environmental. And in a session, we look at the body in a very 3D way because nothing ever gets injured apart from a different system. Typically, in the medical community, what we'll see is like, okay, if your knee hurts, you go to a knee specialist. If your head hurts, you go to a head specialist. And they really try to like break the body apart. And in no way am I like crapping on the medical system in the sense that if I got my arm ripped off, please call the ambulance and get it sewn back on, right? But when we pull all of that apart, we're really missing a lot of important pieces that contributed to the issues or the disease in the first place. So in a session, we look at all of these contributing factors. It kind of blends intuition, Eastern medicine, and Western medicine concepts. Like, we're looking at the body through all those different lenses. And a lot of the work has been cultivating a strong sense of intuition in order to really be able to navigate where we go. A lot of that piece is also working with the nervous system. And as you guys talked about this too, but the nervous system, it influences everything in the body.
Mm.
And sometimes we're not even aware of the state our nervous system is in, especially because, that can kind of be set up from childhood. So some of the things we think are our personality can actually be dysfunction.
Yeah,
Right.
isn't that so crazy when that happens? Like,
I don't think anybody comes out of the womb a perfectionist.
Well, it depends on
no.
the delivery. No, I'm just
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. Well, exactly. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, a lot of things like birth trauma can come up, even traumatic experiences that have happened while they were in utero. I told you guys I would nerd out here, but we did stress tests on fathers while the mother had the baby in utero. So they did stress tests on the baby while they were purposefully stressing out the father. And he was in a different country. And the
What?
baby had a stress response to the father's stress. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, this is hardwired in us as soon as
Oh my
conception
god.
happens.
That gave me
Same. Goosebumps.
Yeah.
holy shit, like, we just so underestimate this, I feel like. People yeah, that's intense. My body did
That
something so crazy when you were telling.
That's crazy. So, did you kinda just, like, have your first body talk session and you're like, "Holy crap, that was insane. I don't know how anyone would know that, and now I want to, like, pursue that," or I'm more curious? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of completely changed the trajectory of my life. I was actually in university to be a teacher, and after that body talk session, I was like, "Never mind."
Wow.
No, no, no.
So when you were
Yeah.
training for it and going through, like, the course, I guess, what did those, like, because it's just so outside of my, like, wheelhouse, what does that, like, training look like? Because so much of it is
intuition, right? Like you said, mixed with the Eastern and Western medicine. But what does training and learning that profession look like?
Yeah, it's pretty intense in the sense that you're like, in order to be a practitioner, you have to really do the work on yourself. So while we're learning the material, we're also actively practicing it and integrating it. So sometimes you would receive and give up to like 100 sessions in a weekend, you know?
Yeah.
This episode of The Wellness Effect is brought to you by Lifestyle You. If you're listening to this podcast and thinking, okay, this sounds like me, whether it's low energy, hormone imbalances, stubborn symptoms, or you just feel like you've tried everything, Lifestyle You is our root cause coaching program designed to help you actually connect the dots.
We use functional nutrition, personalized support, and functional lab testing to figure out why your body is doing what it's doing, instead of just guessing or slapping a band aid on symptoms.
And because you're a listener of the Wellness Effect, when you use the code Wellness Effect, you'll receive a free functional lab when you join the program. If this episode is resonating with you, make sure to share it with a friend, subscribe to the podcast, and check out the show notes to learn more about Lifestyle You and how to apply.
And so it kind of felt like you left a different person after those 4 days because you're being presented with these belief systems and the way belief systems are formed in the body and the influences. Kind of like with that story about the father being stress tested. A lot of the belief systems that are formed for us happen in the first 0 to 8 years of our life, right? So we're not even aware,
Yeah.
and we just kind of walk through life without knowing that we have those belief systems. So it's pretty cool when you get that ability to be able to recognize that, but not only that, but to have the tools to shift those beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there like some typical ones that you see like most people are like grappling with or like kind of struggling with at this point? Like, or is it there just so many?
Yeah, like common trends.
Mhm.
Oh, that's tricky. There are so many. A lot of them can be like, a lot of people will have ones that are around not being enough,
Mhm.
or not loving self, like those
Yep.
can be two big themes that other ones can come from.
Yeah, and I actually totally wanted to go down that road with you today because I think a lot of times as coaches and or even as like women listening to this, if you haven't done our program, like so much of the pushback that we will get is that worth piece, like the
Yes.
value that they see in themselves. And even once they're in the program and they're doing all the things and then all of a sudden, they fall off the rails. And I would just love to hear your thoughts on like where self-worth kind of ties into that and how, you know, kind of healing that a little bit can make working on yourself in all other aspects of your life so much easier.
Yeah. Well, first, to talk about the conflict there is that if I have a belief system that like I don't have inherent self-worth or my inherent self-worth is super low, then I am going to make choices and decisions and also like see things in my environment that are going to validate that. You know about the like car theory? How, you
No.
know, when you're shopping for a car, you're like, this is the one I want. And then suddenly you see it everywhere.
Okay, yeah.
And you didn't even notice it before, but now they're everywhere. Same thing for these belief systems. If I don't believe I'm worthy, I'm going to see that everywhere. And
Mhm.
so even when I like put all this effort and all this time and all this work into changing that, I'm going to sabotage it because my belief system says that I'm not worthy. So all of this stuff that is coming into my life, I'll pull away from it. I'll pull back. So I want to highlight this because a lot of people will blame themselves, right? Like, I'm not trying hard enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not putting in enough effort. But that's not true. It's just that deep down in the subconscious, the belief that I'm not worthy is going to override all of the effort we put in.
So
Yeah, I
crazy.
love that. I was just at a mastermind weekend this last weekend and I actually got to present, but it was interesting because my presentation, the founder and CEO's presentation, we had another person come in. There was like four presentations and all of the underlying factor was like identity. And it's like you're
Right.
not doing this in your business because you don't think you're worthy. Like, and it's just crazy to see how so much of it comes back to that identity and your ego just wants to prove that identity right. So it's like you will look for those things and you will do those things to continue to reassure that belief that you aren't worthy. Yeah, it's crazy and it's
Well, and
sad
even
too.
like yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in like a content little like group challenge thing. And the first day, she's like, okay, everybody, like, we're going to talk about your relationship with attention and like think about your childhood and go all the way back. And like, what did getting attention mean for you? And I'm just like, oh, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, it's so deep. That's crazy. I feel like I
Yeah.
always need like a minute to like process what you say. I'm like, holy fuck.
So in your work, is that part of the body talk session is just even making them become aware of that identity and that belief system?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it gets linked back to what we call an active memory. So, an active memory is basically a memory that holds a charge in your body. And this charge can be activated or triggered, right? And it'll bring us back to that memory every time. And so, what this looks like is kind of like a looping effect because that experience hasn't been completed, right? So sometimes we have to take us back to that memory in order to complete or discharge the memory so that it's not looping anymore. So we essentially close the loop in that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why you see people with what's the mental disorder no, I don't know what it is. I can't think of the right word. It's not psychosis, but they get caught in those loops. Pretty much like crackheads on the street literally get and that's where they yelling and they're just like caught in that loop. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. And what it's not great, but what's like helpful about those type of disorders, right, is that you get to see it in an extreme.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But a lot of us have learned to mask throughout our life. Like as a child, you look around and you see what is normal, and then you're like, okay, I'll be that. Right. And
Yeah.
that's the first time we have experience masking.
Mhm. So the person like sits down in your body talk session and then you just have a look at them and you're like, "Okay, you don't think you're good enough and here's what you need to do." Or like
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So it's a combination of things. What I like to do is kind of just start out talking. People, there's a lot that people say about themselves, their body language, their posture, that's pretty subtle. So we kind of watch what they're saying and how their body language moves, how their breath moves in their body. A lot of people aren't able to take those full breaths, right? And you can see that in their shoulders or in their neck or in their chest, little ways like that. But people will either come in, and if we're doing it over the phone, it's kind of conversational like this. I always invite people, you can lay down, you can sit, kind of whatever's most comfortable, and will make you less focused on your body and more focused on like just being in the moment.
Yeah.
As you were saying that, I could feel myself like
I know. I'm like, "Oh,
I'm like,
okay."
oh, okay.
I'm in a very awkward position right now with my whole
Yeah.
setup. So
Don't
just
judge me.
don't judge me. But um we've all done sessions with Chelsea, and I can remember it was funny when we're like, "Hey, well, what is this all about?" And Kira's like, "It's amazing, you guys. We need to do it. We need to bring it into our client thing." And so a part of that was just like, "Okay, let's all have our own experience." And I think what you told Kira and Jensen was very similar, and it's just so funny because it seems so obvious, right? But it's like going back to what you said, almost all women have the same typical core wound. So it can be that easy. But then I went in and mine was like completely different. I was like, okay, I believe it now because I'm not the same as you guys.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cool thing is we can have like a completely specific or similar core wound or core theme, but how we get there is totally different. And that's what I love about it because even for like a headache, if I go into the doctor for a headache, I could have 100 different reasons for that headache, and they're always going to prescribe me the same thing, right? So I love doing a modality where you take a person and you sit with them. And however you get to that point, whether or not everybody has that point, is completely unique to their life experience. And I think that's a really important piece because
Mhm.
we can all have the same issue, but how we came to that issue is completely unique, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
something we always say too, just with talking with women, and you probably experience this as well, is so many people just aren't ever like heard, and no one ever takes the time to ask them like what is going on. It's always, if you go to the doctor's office, like, tell me your symptom, here's your solution. There's no conversation behind it. So even I think that aspect for people is so powerful, specifically women. So I feel like anyone can benefit from just like being able to like tune into their body, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of also where that somatic piece comes in, right? Because not only have women been dismissed historically, I think women have officially started to be studied in 1991. So, yay,
1993, we were required.
1993.
It's
Okay.
crazy. It's like the
Right?
craziest stat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so weird.
Right. But if you think about it, if we're talking specifically about women, even somatically and in the nervous system, we're taught not to be angry. We're taught to be nice. We're taught all of these ways to like restrict and control ourself and how our body moves. Well, we have a human body, and the body wants to move beyond restriction. It's always going to try to. So the more we kind of like fight it into these boxes, the more we're going to notice different symptoms and different things come up because I mean, when we're angry, we're meant to express it. Maybe not yelling at people, but at least throwing a
Feel it.
pillow around. Yeah.
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 Move it. Gotta move it.
Right. And you see that in children. It's so beautiful. A kid will have a total temper tantrum over something seemingly small, but they will feel it in their entire body and then they move on. Like, can I have a
Yeah.
snack?
You're like, "What?"
Like, no, I need a 3-day recovery period, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Temper
Exactly.
tantrum you just had. Well, even
No,
animals
Ellie
do
did
that.
that the other day. She was, like, full body screaming, writhing around, punching pillows, and I was, like, laying at the on the side. I'm just like, "Yeah, get it out." "Oh, I just heard Jake wake up." "Cool, be right back."
Kira lost her sitter's care today, so she has both kids at home, and so
Yeah.
she's
Wow.
a little in and out, but we're respecting her nervous system.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
not a
You
big
gotta
deal.
do
We're not making this a big deal.
It's
Um,
not a big deal at all.
yeah, no. No, but even animals do that. Like you'll see what's the example? Oh,
Yes.
ducks, they like shake off, or birds will like shake off after they get in a fight or whatever. So no,
Yeah.
it's so important. And then with that guidance from them, so they're in the session, they're talking to you, you kind of make them more aware of their core wound. And then I remember you gave me like, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z and had some homework. So is that more your intuition saying what this person needs, or is that more of like study and science and you know this core wound needs this thing, or how do you kind of come up with the teaching aspect of it?
Well, what's really cool is we follow, it's called, oh gosh, now I'm going to forget the word, but it's essentially body testing, getting a
Yeah.
yes or no response from the body. And so during a session, that's what I'm doing the whole time to find out what specific pathway that we have to go down. So that in combination with intuition, fostering that to a degree where I've learned how to like heighten certain senses during a treatment. But I'll ask somebody's body, what do they need in order to integrate this homework? And then their body will say, hey, this is exactly what I need to do in order
Mhm.
for this to connect. And I love that piece because, hey, we're always wondering, what is going on with my body? Like, what does it need? What do I have to do here? So to be able to get that piece directly from the body and integrate it is, I feel like, super helpful.
Mhm.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, body testing is pretty much like you can hold a supplement. Kira does it a lot where, and if it's yes, you go forward. If it's no, you go back, or vice versa. I think it's that, right? Yes is forward.
Yeah.
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 So you can ask yourself, and it's like cool when you zoom out because obviously you hear that and people are thinking like, yeah, okay, Lacey, that's super woo woo. And like my body does not know. But if you actually think about how complex our bodies are and how many things that they do without us even asking or realizing, it's like you really don't think that they can tell you what it wants and doesn't want. I'm like, so I'm sure it can. So that's so
Mhm.
Right.
cool. And I've done that a lot too. And then something I wanted to go back to is just your mention of somatic. Can you give like a very doesn't even have to be brief, to be honest. You can go on for as long as you want, but just a quick intro. We haven't talked a lot about somatic therapies on this podcast. So those that have just like not heard that word, and then also how you said you now integrate that with the body talk.
Yeah, so somatic is working directly with the body. We kind of run through the premise of body leads, mind follows there. So a lot of times we're in our head trying to solve problems and trying to figure things out, but the body is the source of the problem, right? So with somatic work, we're basically working directly with the body and helping it to move and process in a way that it wants to. So, for instance, if a person is dealing with anger in the body, one of the best ways to help the body to process anger is to scream. So, if we're working somatically with the body, we say, okay, scream, you know? And part of what I am meant to do in that situation is I want you to scream around me and see how it looks when somebody else is regulated and not reacting to your scream. So even that can be super
Whoa.
healing for that inner child, right? Of, hey, great job. How does it feel now to have that out of your body? You know, it's a
Mhm.
completely different experience than a lot of people have had, especially when they restrict that emotion. And then the great thing is all of these things end up interweaving for me. So I just see exactly where we're meant to go for each person. And in Eastern medicine, anger is all about movement. So if we're not expressing anger in a healthy way, then it's going to get stuck. And if it gets stuck, if something wants to move and it's stuck, what's going to happen? You know? It's gonna create all sorts of problems, and one of
Mhm.
those could even be anxiety, that
Mhm.
feeling of panic there, right?
Mhm.
Right. Is there any, like, specific emotions that you see show up in the body? Like, one time I've heard that, like, your trauma is, like, held in your hips and, like, anger held in any other certain areas. Do you kind of abide by that, or do you find it just depends a lot on the person?
Yeah, great question. I feel like it does depend a lot on the person, right? Because there's these specific organs, and in Eastern medicine, every organ represents a different emotion. But then even more than that, there's fascia that connects all of the body, right?
Right.
So that can carry its own energy too. So
Mhm.
it's interesting that sometimes somebody will come in for back pain and we'll work on their shoulder and then they don't have back pain again. Or we won't even deal with their back at all, right? Because things are so interconnected.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just
that's
have a
so
good cry
interesting.
and then their back doesn't hurt
Yeah.
anymore.
A cry or a scream.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
cries.
And if how I like visualize it is if you think of every time you've wanted to like say something or do something and you don't, it's like these little micro tensions in the body. And pretty soon those micro tensions build up and create more restriction. So sometimes we have to do lots of emotional releases to be able to remove that tension from the body. And that's why one of the main things people notice after a session is feeling calmer and feeling lighter,
Which, like, we all need a little bit of
Yeah.
that.
right?
Like, I need to come see you."
I know, I'm thinking the same thing.
But I just think that, yeah, like the art of just like talking about it and having someone to listen. And I think, especially for our clients that have never like done any sort of therapy at all, that's why I like try to get them to go and see you so much
Yeah.
because it is like extremely validating. Because what you said is like, we all think it's like our fault. You know what I mean? Not realizing that it's all so deeply connected to so many different things. And it's also even crazy to like zoom out. And I don't know if this is going to make sense, but like, based on your beliefs, you're going to act a certain way. And then it's going to make like those storage or those little resistance worse in those specific areas because of these beliefs. And it's just like this vicious cycle of like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Yes.
wild to think about. But
It is, but it's also, like, so cool because if
yeah.
we think of, like you said, the themes, the most common themes that people get stuck in, one of the most common themes that people are, like, wanting is actually freedom, you
Mhm.
know? So it's cool when we can see that restriction and see how it's been locking the body up, because on the other side of that gets to be freedom. And
Mhm.
I think, like, for me, that is such a like, that's it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How free can I be in my body, in my life, in the world?
Mhm. Do you think it's possible to have like be sick of any sort, random symptoms, disease without having any trauma being held in the body?
I don't think it's possible to be human
Yeah.
Yeah.
without in the
Hear that,
body.
you guys?
Yeah, because we wanna think of this from the lens of a child, right? If 0 to 8 is when we're storing all of our belief systems and everything that happens, think about a child's trauma. It's like, I didn't get the red cup today, and my mom couldn't find it. I didn't get the red cup at all, you know? That is traumatic for a kid. They didn't receive what they needed in the moment, right?
Mhm.
And these little examples, these things can form that's beyond like the big trauma that can happen, right? But just on a small scale, like I lost my favorite bunny. That's their
Mm-hmm.
first experience with loss and grief, right?
Yeah. No, that's good because that's something we talk about a lot with our clients is just helping them understand that even if you think like your childhood was good and you didn't have any of that capital T trauma, there's still things that you need to work through that have created those like beliefs that you now live by but are extremely outdated. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We have a lot of moms that listen to this podcast. And so, in your opinion, what are ways that as parents you can help your children in that very important age, that 0 to 8, regulate their nervous system?
Okay. There's two points here.
Okay.
One's not going to be anybody's favorite, but it's also like a bit of a relief, you know?
Hmm.
The first thing I will say is like, nobody gets through childhood unscathed,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Like, we are going to fuck our kids up,
Yeah.
you know? And the reason why that comes with relief is knowing like it's less about those experiences. Obviously, I'm talking about the normal losing your bunny or losing your cool, right? It's about the repair. Because a lot of times when I work with people, when we go back to that inner child, we ask them, what do you need that you didn't get? And so in those moments with our children, if we can say to them, what do you need right now? You know, that is huge. That's being seen, heard, and understood. What do you need right now?
Hmm.
My bunny. I need my bunny.
Yeah. Now we have Amazons. We can get that bunny really quick.
Yeah.
That bunny can be back tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it can be scary. Even me, I'm sitting here, I'm just like, yeah, I've really blown it in a few different scenarios. But I love that. You are going and that's our human experience, right? Our human experience is to have these things happen to us and like grow and hopefully evolve and like level up so we don't have to learn that same lesson again. And I get a lot of like peace with that. But yeah, I do think it can be scary to hear that we're all gonna fuck our kids up. Like
Well, even
just to
by
say it,
being
I'm like, oh my
perfect
God.
on paper in every single way as a
Yes.
Yeah.
parent is gonna fuck your kid up. Like there's just no way. So
Exactly.
it's like which is
Right.
probably even worse, to be honest.
Yeah, my mom was too perfect, right?
Hmm.
My
Yeah.
like mom wasn't perfect enough. I think is like parents too, if we get to the end of parenting a child up to that point. I mean, parenting is never done, but if our kids say to us, "Hey, you let me down here." I think if I am able to say in that moment like, "I'm sorry, I let you down." Instead of, "I did my best." I think
Yeah.
that that will be so much more supportive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, just some
exactly.
acknowledgement of the mistakes that you've made and
because you're human, and then I
yeah.
get to walk forward, our kids get to walk forward in life knowing, "Hey, if I make a mistake, it's okay. I'm human." You
And you
know?
can
I
even, like, sink into it a little bit further too and, like, allow yourself to heal that part of you that never had someone there to watch you have a tantrum or to Amazon you the bunny the next day. Like, if that
Yeah.
wasn't your experience, it's okay, and I love to just sit there and, like, pretend literally pretend Ellie is me. I don't do this all the time, you guys. I blow it constantly. I just wanna make that clear. But, like, the odd time that I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting this right," I just envision that it's myself and, like, what would I want someone to do for me right now? You wouldn't want, "I told you so." You wouldn't want, "Suck it up." You like, nobody wants that. You just want someone literally to hold that space for you, right?
And
Yeah.
I will also make it clear that I mess up too. You know, I have all these tools, I have all these resources, but I'm still here having a human experience. And I think that that's where repair comes in too. Because, like you said, Kira, sometimes it's like, I never had an adult apologize to me, you know? So even that in itself is, I'm showing them that, hey, just because you're a kid doesn't mean you're always wrong, you know?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
We're all
Um,
just processing,
I
like,
know.
thinking about our
Well, and I'm like,
childhoods.
selfishly, I wanna ask you about human design and how that integrates, but I'm like, do I wanna switch the topic yet? But I am curious, do you use your human design knowledge to integrate with this thing, and do you find there's correlations with that, or is your human design knowledge, like, separate from this work that you do?
well, it does naturally integrate if I do know somebody's human design or if we've done human design work together as well.
Mhm.
So it kind of, if I know it, then part of what we do in a human design reading is, okay, how did these patterns, these open and closed areas in your human design, how were they nurtured? How were they like punished? You know? And we're
Mhm.
able to connect with some of those beliefs that are more grounded in what their human design is in order for them to be more comfortable in how their energy moves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you think that would I'm thinking of this now with, like, raising kids, like, that could be so helpful to know more about their human design and to help them kind of thrive. That's yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I did with my kids. And my youngest, my youngest girl, she's a projector with a, oh, I forget what her authority is, but basically it's really connected to health. And ever since she was little, she's been like, "Mom, I can only have 2 cookies, not 3." Or, "I'm not
That's
doing that,
crazy.
that's not healthy." Or, like, with her being a projector, she's got, like, limited energy, so she would be the youngest and the oldest are walking to all the houses during Halloween, and she's in the stroller, like, "Take my bag, go get me candy."
Like, I'm gonna do this as efficiently as possible.
It's so smart, yeah, but
Yeah, genius.
knowing her human design made me understand, hey, she's gonna move differently through the world, so
Mhm.
it's
That's so cool.
That's
yeah,
That is
so
cool.
cool and so interesting.
I'm a
yeah.
projector too, so I feel that. Um,
Yeah.
real quick, because I don't think people know, we've, like, never talked about human design. How would you explain human design to someone that doesn't know what it is?
Okay. Well, it is kind of like when you're born, you have a snapshot of your energy, and you have different strengths and different weaknesses naturally. And if you know your human design, you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So you're able to kind of get a permission slip on those things that maybe don't come easily or naturally to you or that are your gifts. So with human design, we kind of focus more on the gifts and release those aspects that maybe we're just not meant to be here to do, you know?
Mhm.
Or getting extra support there, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know that was, like, very broad.
Yeah, yeah. I don't wanna compare it to a horoscope, but you guys, it's pretty much like a horoscope on
It
steroids is how I like to
is.
explain it.
It is exactly like a horoscope, but I was afraid to use that word because 'cause I'm like, "Well, maybe people don't know horoscopes either."
Yeah, no, no, no. We're gonna assume they know that, but
Yeah.
No, I love the human design. It's funny every time I talk about the human design and someone asks me what I am and I say a projector, they're like, projectors always love that because it makes them like they feel like so different that once they have that label, they're like, yeah, I love this. This makes so much sense. But
Yeah.
I'm a projector and Kira's a reflector. And then Jen, you're a man, Jen, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we've got
we're
the
a
perfect
whole vibe.
combination here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The reflector, I think that is so cool. They're so unique too, you
Mhm.
know? But I feel like
Plus
projectors, it's so validating because you get to know like that your energy is not the same as everybody else's, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Reflectors too. But I think what's tough with man gens and generators is that everybody thinks just because you can be a workhorse that you should be a workhorse, you know?
I know. We're just all riding
Yeah.
on
Jeb's like,
Jensen here, just constantly, Jensen, do this, do this, do this. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Stop.
That's how it feels in my brain.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's been interesting learning more about that and just trying to create like more of a life that fits into that. And even with like Kira with her decision making, she's supposed to wait like a full moon. So she'll always come to us with these ideas. And we're like, okay, Kira, we'll talk to you in a month about that. You're not allowed to sign up for that course. You're not allowed to quit your job. You're not allowed to do this. You
yeah,
need
and
one
then
month.
like a month
Like,
later, they're like, so whatever happened? I'm like, oh, not doing
yeah, we're
that.
like, okay.
That's crazy back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister's 24 hours and we do human design together. So I would come to her with these big like generator ideas with like all this excitement and she'd be like, huh, I don't know. But then I got used to it. She needs 24 hours to make a decision.
Is that
So
Mangen or what's she?
she's a manifester.
Oh, manifester. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are
Oh,
you?
yeah.
I'm a generator.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
So
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a
Love it.
week. I'm supposed to be a week for decisions. So
Does
that's why we
that
get a little clouded. Jensen's a day, I'm a week, here's a month. So we take some time to get things done around here.
are so fair?
I also need to know my exact birth time because sometimes I'm like, my parents have given me a very brief like hour, and I'm like, is that going to change? Could
You
that
can
change it?
Yeah.
you could plug I mean, if you are feeling bored one day, you could just plug it in like minute by minute and see
Mm,
if it does change at all. That's what
Yeah.
we've done
okay.
with some people who are like, it's this time frame-ish. We've just like checked to see if there was actually any changes. And typically within a couple hours, there's not that much change.
That's kind of what I've like seen, but I know then someone told me that like 5 minutes could change it. So I was like, well, I think this is what I am, but I guess
Yeah, I guess
we'll
if you're
see.
on the end of it, then it but I did that once because I was like, maybe I'm not actually a reflector. Like, this is weird. So I like plugged in like the whole hour before and after my time and it was reflector. And I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Okay, then I should be okay.
You're
Yeah, I
like,
asked
okay,
my
the grieving
parents.
process can begin now.
Yeah.
What's happening? Who am
Right.
I?
So
You
funny.
said you asked your parents.
Yeah, I asked my parents and they like give me a general time. I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like, I need the minute. And they're just like, what is she up to now? Like, I like
I
pull out my
wonder
birth records.
right, now that, like, birth info is online, I wonder if or, like, your charts are online, I wonder if you can access that or not
The
easier.
only reason I think I wouldn't be able to is I was born in Alberta and now I'm a BC resident. So I have no Alberta logins or anything, but maybe I
Oh,
could
yeah.
get
Well, what
someone
we
that
tell people
does.
to do sometimes is to call the hospital that you were born in, and
Oh.
they'll have to verify your ID somewhere some way, and then they can send you, your
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do that. That's smart
yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
just also
Because
curious.
you do need the time. What do you need? Your birthday, your birthplace, and your time of birth?
Jensen,
Yeah.
what if you call and they're like, there's no Jensen Burns ever born here? You're like,
I'd have a lot of other issues I need to deal with other than my human design.
yeah. Okay,
Wait
I'll
a
get.
second.
Oh my gosh, that's
Uh, okay, just to kind of like tie a bow on everything, what would you recommend for someone in terms of like daily practices that they can do to help with feeling more like in tune with their body and working through these things that we've talked about today?
Yeah, I think one of those things would be, well, two things. I would say one of them would be like somatic dance. So to put music on and to dance like nobody's watching, like the weirdest version of you, the most chaotic version of you, just really letting your body take up space in the world, just beyond what, like, I'm not talking these little, this is not acceptable, but like really taking up space. That's a
I
great
love
way to
that.
let the body and the energy really move.
I love that.
Love that.
Love that. It's one of my favorite things in the world to
Same.
do.
Like
It's
actual
so
favorite things
healing.
to do.
And you
Yeah.
It's so
don't you
healing.
forget every time how good it feels, and then you do it again, you're just like, "Holy fuck, that was awesome." Like, I
Yeah.
Right?
forgot. I need to do
Feel
this every day.
invigorated. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it can be like, let's not let time take away that opportunity. If we have 1 minute, if we have an hour, taking that time is going to be enough to like let the body get into it. So it doesn't really have to take up all of the day. It can just be a minute. It can be in the vehicle on the drive to work.
Yeah.
Well,
Which it's even funny thinking about that and zooming out because it's like every friggin' kid just loves dance parties.
Hmm.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And it's like, at what
yeah,
age do we just stop doing that?
Yeah.
right.
So we can learn a lot from our kids. It's so cool.
Yeah, it
Well, and I
is.
like
I
how you said doing 1 minute a day, because I think a lot of the times when we think about nervous system, we think, oh, I need to schedule in my journaling or scheduling in my meditation or tapping or whatever that might be. And all those things are so great. But we forget the things that really actually should bring us joy, whether that's singing or dancing or whatever that might be. And we feel like we can't schedule that stuff in.
Right, we're very productivity is like the theme of the culture,
Yeah.
right? How much did you get done? How much did you accomplish? Not so much like, did you have fun today? You know? And what's the first question we ask our kids if they're like out at
Yeah.
school or if we took them to the park? Like, hey, was that fun? You know? And then that shifts into how much did you get done today? So I think it's
Hmm.
important to kind of go against the grain in that way and prioritize our fun. And that's a lot of why we do this work, you know, why we go into the hard and the heavy is because if we've lived a life in heightened nervous system state, like chronic stress, I'm talking, because we're never going to be like completely calm all the time. We don't want that. We want to be able to have stress and then come right back down, right?
Hmm.
So our nervous system, if we get it to the point where it's more healthy, more strong, we're no longer living in that extreme state of survival. We get to then experience what thriving looks like. And thriving looks like fun and joy and, you know, just being present in our body. It's really hard to do when our body's wired to just get through the day, you know?
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
And it's even funny just hearing you say that, you know what I mean? It's like we all think it's this big thing and what are we going to do? And we're going to write a list and we're going to implement it. And it's like, no, you just listen to this hour-long podcast and all you guys have to do is just dance for a minute a day and you're going to be fine.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like people just overcomplicate it so much. It's just
I
funny to
know.
hear.
I know because we even have to make like wellness productive.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that on that note too, I wanted to talk about like meditation. A lot of people are finding out that they are neurodivergent, right? That they're not like wired typically. And in
Okay.
that way, in meditation, yeah, tell me
We're like,
more.
"Uh-huh, tell us more."
And that way, meditation doesn't work in the same way for a neurodivergent person to be silent or to quiet their mind for a minute. They're like, how? It's
Like,
it's
literally, what does that what?
It's impossible.
what does that mean? It's
Are
impossible.
there
So
people that can do that?
I've
No.
There's
heard
people
there
that don't have
is.
internal thoughts.
There is.
Well, I would argue that they're just not aware of them. It's my belief.
Or they're just
But that is
super
a thing.
chill and don't have raging ADHD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm like
Zach. It's like my
I feel like I
husband.
have this giant, like, list, like a it's like, do I have ADHD or don't I? And I keep, like, making little marks on either side, and I'm always just like, "I don't know. Maybe I do."
I don't know. Well, regardless, there's neurodivergence there, right?
Yeah.
Like the brain is just wired different, which even with meditation, we can make meditation work for us instead of trying to do the typical like quiet the mind. clear the thoughts. Like, what? Now all I can think about for the next hour is that my thoughts won't clear. So, in that way, what meditation, how it serves the body and what we can do every day is just to notice our thought and how it's like influencing our body or the other way around, right? Because if I have a thought like, oh my gosh, I'm such a mess, then it's like, oh, how am I feeling in my body? I'm feeling frazzled. Okay. So that thought is just trying to show the state that I'm in right now. It's just that I'm
Oh,
frazzled. Instead of having the thought, I'm a mess, and then believing it, and then validating it, and then writing a list of all the ways I need to clean up.
change it.
Right.
Hmm.
But just noticing that that thought is actually coming from the state in the body.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's not like a final, like, stamp of who you are as a person. It's just like in that moment, this is kind of what's going on. Huh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Yeah.
And
You
we
are not
hear
your
that like our
thoughts.
thoughts aren't reality. And I think sometimes it's hard to like comprehend that because it's like, well, I'm thinking it, so it is my reality. But when you put it like that, it makes a lot more sense to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think it also gives us makes us feel less helpless with those thoughts in our mind, right? It's like, okay, if I notice that thought and then I notice the feeling in the body, then I become the observer. And that's the point of meditation as well, is to just notice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that helped me a lot. I was deep into like self-development and meditation and everything like that for many years, and that was a thing that helped me a lot. It's like, okay, if I can observe, oh, I'm thinking this, then it's like you are the observer of that thought, therefore that thought is not you, or you would not be able to observe the fact that you're having it. And something would do in meditation, because I can't not think anything, it was just like when the thought, I would like wait for thoughts to come in, so I'd be like, okay, what's my next thought going to be, and then I would like label it as good or bad or neutral, and then it just has helped so much in the last like 6 years since I've done that, of just the awareness around them. And you don't have to believe them, and they're not true. Bodybuilding also helped me a lot with that, because your thoughts get crazy when you're in a bodybuilding prep. And then you kind of realize, like, oh, I don't have to eat every time my thoughts tell me I'm absolutely starving or whatever. So, yeah, it's interesting, but I love that.
Really? I am so curious now about the thoughts during bodybuilding. Why specifically then? Is it because you're like so in the zone?
Well, I think it's just that because you're eating such low calories, you are really, really hungry, and you're just constantly having to beat that voice in your head that says, "Oh, you should just eat this. No one will know. Oh, you don't have to do your cardio. You don't have to work out." Like, it's just like such a individual sport where nobody knows if you did it or not. You know what I mean? And so it's like when you constantly are like, "Eat a donut, eat a donut." You're like, "No, I don't want to eat a donut. Just eat it. No one's gonna know." And you're like, it's just like this back and forth of like this mental, that it really helped me understand that, like, oh, I chose not to believe that thought, or not to eat that I wasn't actually starving, and then I didn't eat the donut, you know what I mean? And then you realize, like, oh, my thoughts are actually crazy. Sometimes they contradict each other. Sometimes they're telling me one thing. They're not like always want what's best for me, I guess. And so it just made me
They're
super
not
aware.
even
But again, I
always your
have,
own thought,
Yeah.
too,
yeah,
which
Right.
is crazy.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's so cool.
yeah, it
And like
was,
not cool, but you know what I mean?
yeah.
Just to
No, it
have it
was
be
cool.
so
It,
extreme for you to
a hun-
notice.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, I also am like neurodivergent and everything, so I don't know if most people have that experience, but it's helped me have success, I think, in my life now because of that journey. So me and Jensen always joke, like, there's probably healthier ways, because she also did bodybuilding, that you can learn those lessons, but it served
Yeah.
us. We're doing well.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like
Grateful for the experience.
Yeah.
those extremes are helpful, right? Like we all in some way experience those extremes in life and
Hmm.
you learn a lot from it. Like even like Kira being in the space with a newborn, right? You're like, whoa, this is an extreme. And then having a toddler, it's such a different experience, even from like one stage of life to another. I don't
Yeah,
know if
that's
you find
so
that.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and even just, like, this exact moment right now, I'm just like, what is happening?
Trying to keep his
Tank's
eyes out of
just
the
rolling
sun.
on. I know, I'm like, "Sorry, blinding," but he's so cute.
He is
Yeah.
Do you
so
wanna say
cute.
Yeah.
hi?
So cute. He's so big now.
I know.
Oh,
Oh,
hi.
he said hi. Okay, I was gonna ask because we usually kind of wrap it up at an hour, which I can't even believe this has been an hour. That's crazy. But kind of at the beginning, you were talking a little bit about intuition, and I would love if you had like one or two things that you've done that have helped you like strengthen your intuition. Because I just find that I think people need that so much because there's so much information, there's so much data from other people and thoughts from other people, and like some of it's very valid, but on the other hand it's like, does this work for me, does this fit my life? So you know what I'm asking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So we all have like I like to tie intuition to our senses, and we all have senses that are stronger or more heightened than others. Some people have that felt sense in their body, like you walk into a room and you can like feel the energy in the room, or you can feel how somebody's feeling in that moment when you're around them. Some people have a subtle sense of sight, which they can if they close their eyes, they have a really great imagination. They can see things very clearly. Or sense of hearing, like that instinct is there. What other senses are there?
Taste.
Taste.
Taste, like, people who are like, huh, something's off here, something's fishy about this. So I would say to find out kind of which one of your subtle senses is the strongest for you and start there. Just kind of hone into that. Notice the ways that that shows up in your life. If you're a person who's really empathic, these senses are kind of our superpower and our connection to our intuition, and the more we hone them and strengthen them, then the other ones will get stronger too. So my felt sense started off as my strongest sense, and then the subtle sense of hearing came, and all these other things where it wasn't just thoughts in my head, but then little like, hey, do this, or hey, don't do that. And then the way it would play out, kind of like you were saying, Lacey, whether or not I argued with that was the outcome. I was like, whoa, that was my body telling me something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people, we kind of ignore that part. We're not really trained throughout life to nurture our intuition. So it's also when we have that gut feeling or when we have that thought, our like immediate reaction or response is to question it. So part of it is just sitting in this discomfort of trusting something that we cannot know for sure. And then we see what the outcome is.
And hopefully you're right.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And sometimes you won't be.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, like, do you feel like if you don't use it, you lose it? But it's almost like you never really lose it, but the more that you use it, the more confirmation that you get that it is correct. Therefore, you're like more willing to listen to it. Would you say that's how you think about it?
Absolutely. It's like a muscle, right? Just like
Mhm.
anything else. And because it's not something that's necessarily nurtured our whole life, it feels like it takes a lot of time. But it's kind of like how much discomfort can I sit in along the way of just not knowing for sure until afterwards.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like a time you really are like forced to listen to your intuition is when you become a parent. You know what I mean? Because like you have these like crazy internal feelings about what your children are feeling and you either have to like lean into it or not. And so that's probably a time when you're more so forced to actually listen to that intuition and use it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, oh, I'm going to go check on them. And then they have a fever or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
It's
Well, and
probably
even
like a
just in
good.
pregnancy, it's crazy. Like that was a big expansion for me, was like trusting my intuition this pregnancy. And then when it kind of goes, and even like learning, okay, is this anxiety or is this intuition? Like that's been a big kind of piece of the puzzle for me too. It's
Yeah. How does that taste, Jake? But I was gonna say it's probably even a good time. Well, I mean, the earlier the better. If you don't have to wait till you have kids, but probably a lot of women can learn to trust their intuition there, because there's so many people giving so many different opinions that it's like, and you want to do it the perfect way and you don't want to make any mistakes. And then it's like, okay, you were told to do this, but your intuition is so strongly telling you to do this, something completely different. And I think it probably takes something as strong as that bond
Yeah.
between like a mom and their kid for the mom to actually be like, well, no, I'm not going to follow what the Instagram post said, and I'm going to do this my way and listen to my intuition. And so probably a lot of women like can feel that they step into it then.
During that
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Well, absolutely. And there's also that, like, biologically, your senses do heighten
Mhm.
because for women, we have to have more like data in order to be able to protect the children, right? Keep
Yeah.
them safe. So then the body will have heightened senses because that's how we protect the children. Oh, I got to make sure I'm holding the baby tight while I'm walking down the stairs. Or it will kind of give us this extra data that we don't typically have because now there's a layer of safety over everything that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting.
Yeah, but it's very possible to cultivate those senses beforehand, but just kind of exploring what it is for you, like individually. I think
Mhm.
felt sense is a really strong one for most women, being able to pick up on how something feels and whether or not it feels good or bad, but trusting that, right? And being able to like not have all the answers, because I think having all the answers is nice.
It is. Sure makes us feel productive, doesn't it?
Right, right. And so there's that discomfort in being like, I have no proof, but this is just how I feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think there are so many stories of people, and like you said, so many stories about mothers who had this insane intuition and then it like came true or protected their child. Or like if do you guys watch scary movies? Maybe not. Do
Kind
you?
of.
Okay. You know how in the scary movies, every woman is like, we should not stay here tonight. We shouldn't do it. And they're always like, "Ah, stop worrying." And then the craziest things happen.
Yeah. Do you think too, and then we can wrap it up because I know we've said we're going to wrap it up like 4 times now, but do you feel like the muscle testing is like a part of the intuition, or do you ever find like conflicting answers between your intuition or and the muscle testing?
So it's pretty helpful. All of the modalities that I've learned, all of the work that I've done is really about like checking and being super aware of your ego too,
Mhm.
especially in birth work. Everything like that is noticing what like my biases are or what my beliefs are so that I am able to be more of like an open book in a session. So I have certain like meditative practices that I go into before each session, and then I'm able to connect to that person in an easier way. So I don't find that there's conflicting information because I'm not tied to the outcome for the individual.
Right. And so do you kind of think that muscle testing is intuition? Like, is the intuition leading the way that your body goes forward or back? Also, the sun just disappeared, so I'm like super
I would
dark all of a
say,
sudden.
yeah, like there's that aspect of intuition there, even like within a body. It knows
Well, that's what I
in
mean. It's like because something is making you pull forward and pull back. It's not just like out of nowhere. So it probably is the knowing of the body, the intuition that interesting. Hmm. Boom.
right. And for like muscle testing with when I'm using somebody's hand, it's like such a clear extension or like a break or well, like limitation. So the muscle will be so hard, I won't be able to even move the hand, but on a yes, it'll be easy.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's so
Yeah, and
crazy.
then certain people will like try to help me, so they'll extend their hand themselves, and that can also give you a lot of insight
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
about a
like,
person.
No kidding.
whoa.
That would
Oh,
be me, like, "Just so you know, it's doing this, just to
yeah,
help you out."
no worries. Yeah, so
Wow.
I would say it's intuition, and it's also like the body just knows.
Yeah.
And the mind is where we get stuck. It's like, that's not possible, that's not real. How does this work? that logical mind really wants to understand how things work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of doing a dance between the intuitive nature of the body and the logical mind. So you're in a session, you kind of want to dance between both so
Mhm.
that both are feeling like a part of the puzzle.
Yeah. And in
Because one isn't
alignment
better
with
or
each other.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
want both.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. Well, does anyone else have any other questions, or should we let Chelsea pimp herself out for a minute and tell people where they can find her? Jake?
Yeah. Jake,
Mr. Jake, what
anything you
about
want to
you?
say?
Um,
So,
Goodbyes are always so hard, though. This was
yeah,
so fun.
Yeah, this was great.
we could talk literally all day, I
I
feel
know. I'm
like.
like, I have 800 more questions, but
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
but
yeah,
where can
Chelsea, where
people
can
find
everyone
you?
find you?
So I am on Instagram as Deconstructed Wellness. I have a website there. I also have a booking link where people can book with me for one-on-one sessions. Um, I also in will be launching a somatic meditation, kind of like a guided meditation thing. It's going to be more weird than your traditional meditation as a way to kind of break through some of those natural limitations in the body in a fun way, too. So that'll be coming out soon.
Awesome. Well, we'll put all that stuff in the
Can't
show
wait.
notes. And if you're a Lifestyle U client and you're in the back end of our program and you haven't taken advantage of your free session, because I know a lot of you haven't, because I get billed for them, reach out and ask your coach and tell them to, because even if, well, if you don't think you need it, that's probably a sign that you need it even more. But it's a huge value add to our program, and the clients that do go get a lot out of it. So we encourage you to take advantage if you are a client. And if you're not,
Yeah.
well, her link will be in the bio or in the show notes.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, Jensen, you want to sign us off?
Sure. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure you ring the bell on YouTube, download if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or anywhere you listen to your podcast, and come back every single Wednesday for a new episode. See ya.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Wellness Effect. We're so grateful to be part of your wellness journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram. We'll put all of our handles in the show notes. If you have questions or ideas, slide into our DMs or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep creating your own wellness effect.